program is this morning on ITV, Sunday's edition. And the very first one for this week, you know, we start this program Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course Friday, the Pidgin English version of the same program, Good Morning from Benin. Well, today I said that we are going to be one more time, we're going to continue from where we perhaps stopped. When I say stop, talking about our discussions on television and also on radio, on independent radio, looking at the ongoing political situation in Edo State. And of course, when we say political situation, all attention draws to the All Progressives Congress, what seems to be something that political analysts you know, have been trying to find a very lasting solution to. Talking about the rifts between the Edo State governor and the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress. Well, some say there are no rifts, it's just political misunderstanding, while some say that there is something that you know, needs to be talked about, because the way the whole situation seems now, there are no solutions as you know, that we can see. And we understand that any moment from now, there's going to be a Congress, and that will give rise to having leaders across the constituencies, the wards and all that, and also culminating to having a chairman, another chairman emanating in the All Progressives Congress. And of course, we are going to be talking about the primary, and which eventually will lead to the governorship election sometime 2020. That's going to be next year. And it's something that calls for great attention. Well, to look at the ongoing political situation in Edo State as it relates to Edo 2020, we are so privileged to have three guests here today. We have Honorable Vincent Ogbede. So welcome to this program this morning on ITV.
Good morning, viewers.
And also we have Comrade Mavis Enoma Iyamu, who is a member of the African Youth Parliament and a former legal advisor to NAS. You're welcome to this program this morning on ITV. We also have Mr. Osahan Obaraye, who is a political analyst and a friend of the house too. Osahan, you're welcome one more time. Yes, gentlemen, good morning and you're welcome. So let's look at issues at hand, looking at the ongoing political situation in Edo State. Just as I said, it seems it's never ending. Today we'll talk about you know, how one thing led to the other and all that. But let's start from looking at the whole scenario. Are we seeing any possibly solutions in sight? I'll start with Honorable Vincent Ogbede.
Good morning, viewers. The issue of maybe solution, kind of. I don't, let me not preempt the APC generally, but the truth is this. When you're talking about issues before elections, you're supposed to be looking at maybe the ruling parties and maybe one or two the strongest opposition party. But in this case now, attention is just on the ruling party, which is APC. We are watching them displaying their show of shame, so to say.
No, you can't say so, Honorable Betty. Okay, you can't say so. Okay. Yeah, so I will take apology for that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's look at the whole thing. If we look at the story of APC, before the 2016 election, people like us, we contested against the APC government. We told the Edo people, the electorate in Edo State, that look at one or two issues. These people, you can't trust them. These people, most of these things they are saying might not be, they cannot really do it. But people, some persons, because we don't have so much money to throw around, some persons believe that, oh, no, this APC, what they are saying, they really meant it. But today, where are we? We are looking at the issue of APC and the governors and his followers or co-party members. We are looking at internal party democracy, which the APC is lacking presently. The issue of solution, for me, I don't see any solution in place for the now, because if you look at the governor and those with him, they're talking about the government talking about the issue of sharing money. The other side is talking about the issue of shutting them out of the governance, the issue of not giving them a job and things like that. So if the governor have said the type of job they need, according to him, that he does not want Togri or things like that to come back to the state. Because if we look at before the previous administration of Dr. Somole, you look at the way the women at Oba Market were being manhandled, beaten, forcibly collecting money from them. You look at the drivers and things like that. There were chaos everywhere. But the present government have said, no, we will not allow this to continue. Why the APC, the other side, the other faction of the APC say, no, this must happen because we have worked for you and things like that. If, for instance, things that would have said, okay, maybe there will be solution or things like that, what would have led to things like solution or things between them is if the governor himself realized that, yes, I have made a lot of promises to this person, because some of them went out of their way to make sure that the governor comes to power. Some of them spend their personal money, spend their time and things like that. If actually you do not want to continue with the issue of Togri and things like that, there are other ways you can get these people engaged. You can take them to farm, and the other ways you can even take them to go and learn. You can take them to go and learn skills so that they can become productive. And the issue of Togri, which you are trying to avoid, because whatever happened now, whatever happened in your administration as a governor, the history will remain that, oh, during Obasanjo's time, A, B, C, and D happened.
Okay. Let me pause you. Let me come to Comrade Enoma Mavis. Now, the primaries is somewhere around the corner, and of course, we're also talking about the Congress that's also around the corner. Now, the fear for some people is that at the time we're going to be having this Congress, leaders emanating, world chairmen and all that, that may snowball into another crisis.
Yes, Mr. Evans, thank you very much for the audience. And I must say, the political tension in the state just now was actually heightened by, if we could remember clearly, by the proclamation issued by the governor, which subsequently led to the inauguration of members of the House of Assembly, as it were. You know, at this level, we're not talking about resolving issues, the political issues like that, without talking about or trying to address or tackle the cause of that issue. The root cause of the issue that is playing out today is as a result of that proclamation letter, the issue. And of course, I believe that the governor, in his magnanimity or the leadership of the state, should be fully prepared by now to, to respond to whatever confrontation that will be coming his way on or before the party congress. And if he is not ready for it, I don't see any need why the governor should. He knows the process that gave back to him. He knows how he was made governor of the state. But
do you think, for the governor, constitutionally, the governor cannot write another proclamation letter? That has been told.
Of course, the High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has actually heard that the governor cannot issue fresh proclamation letter and also restrain the National Assembly from taking over the State House of Assembly. Of course, which therefore gives the governor the power or cements the powers of the governor to act in the way he has actually acted. Nobody is actually disputing that. But when the law, the court has actually settled the legal aspect of it. So it is not left for the governor to tackle the political dimension to the issue, which is, as a governor, as a political leader of the state, he is duty bound to address all political issues within his, confines. But the situation whereby you are aware that this is just one party issue. The governor is here to meet with the public, the electorate. So if he's not able to address the issue within his party, within his political party that gave birth to him as governor of the state, or that sponsored him as their flag bearer, then of course how do you expect the man to wage or to respond to the political issue that was immediately after the primaries, or before the primaries?
All right,
so it's quite a critical issue that it must be very, very proactive and battle ready to address the issue. All right, so we'll be taking our ways.
All right, now also, Barry, we're talking about your own party, the All Progressives Congress. Just like what we said, that the Congress is somewhere around the corner, and of course, the primaries are around the corner. Now, is this a concern? Is the party concerned with this? Are they closing ranks in all this so that they will have a smooth, free, fair election come next year?
Please come again with your question. So
what I'm saying is that the Congress is somewhere around the corner. The primary is also around the corner. With the situation now in the APC, or if we have the Congress with all this, is this not going to pull the party into a more deeper crisis?
Thank you so much, my brother. I think it's a privilege to sit with you again. This should be the umpteenth time, I can't count again, that we've discussed both on TV or radio about the crisis. I first said it, if you remember very well, if you go back to your archives, that the visit of Obaseki to Iyamo was nothing. That to we, the politicians, it was something to give to you people, the journalists, to talk about. That it was not anything political.
No, we're not talking about that now. Yeah,
I first said so. So, coming to the very just now, for the question you asked, saying the primaries, that is going to be the final collapse of our party. Because, let's go back, I always like to give you facts. I don't believe in trying to tell you what happens in Rwanda.
Oh, you can also say that
1999, I was privileged to have been a youth leader in PDP in my ward, Ward 7, New Benin, Oredo. And I remember how we were deregistered because of a fight like this between the national and the governor. And the next thing, we were registered in our ward, but at the end of the day, our registration card did not pass it over here. So at the end of the day, what happened was that in Vanguard, another national newspaper,
a list came out.
A list came out. We were no longer there. And you cannot fight.
Where did that list emanate from?
From Abuja, Wadata House, Abuja PDP House. I'm telling you now, and what happened? We have to move. Because we are no longer welcoming that party.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the PDP now. We're talking about the APC.
No, yeah. If you don't know where you are coming from, my brother, where you are going to will be of great fear to you. I'm telling you now, because of people, on political history, both people fighting now are not of my category, politically. We both said, age-wise, I'm not saying age-wise. My political age is more than some of their age. So,
yeah,
so no, let me if some of them might not know, they might just have read it through the books to say this was up. If you don't know, what emanated to No Man Is God, Grace Group, now came to ACN, like that's coming again, to this APC. The same thing is now what will kill the party again, because what you are going to see, I will tell you now, is most people will register here. The thing also will not fly again to Abuja, because you will now see the party you've been seeing that in nearly out of the 192 wards in Edo, over 80 to 90 has place A, place B of doing APC meeting. Clearly, I will tell you my ward, Ward 7 Edo, where I've been playing politics very clearly since political. We just have 2 places now where APC now does their meeting.
So the party is polarized already.
I'm telling you, I didn't say you should go to Sokoto to check. I'm telling you, New Benin before the New Benin police station, before New Covenant Gospel Church. That was the former place we were holding our meeting. That was where Godon Baseki came to get blessed in the world. But as we speak today, there is a brand new one again, a brand new one now as we speak, by Costain, before we now get to this one. This one you hear is this one you hear is this one, fighting and maiming themselves, beating every day. If this one is holding meeting, this one mobilizes there and fight this one. So you can see that already it has been polarized. What is happening is just trying to still paint it that is not. What happened at Iyamo a few weeks back has gone to show you that these 2 people are no longer playing. Was it not the same Iyamo the way that they were laughing to say people journalists that causes we are father, we are child, there's nothing happening. It was not the same Iyamo that the other person now went to that was not stoned. So my brother, what has happened is not even, let me guard my brother here, it's not even the proclamation letter. There was only a fight before the proclamation letter, and there was no fight. But if there was peace, why would there be inauguration around 9 p.m. Okay. Now, if there was peace, why would somebody come to our Edo State Assembly with a Nika to be sworn in as an honorable? If there was peace, why were people again beating up at the hotel at TTT?
Okay. So let me pause you. I'm going to come to you. Let me come to Honorable Ogbede one more time. Now, your own party and perhaps other parties seem to be on the watch I mean, we don't hear anything from other parties except the People's Democratic Party, who recently, through the chairman, the Edo State chairman, said that he is willing, or the party is willing to resolve the crisis between Adams Oshiomhole and Mr. Godwin Obaseki as the Edo State governor. Now, other political parties seems to be on the watch. They are not. We don't hear anything from them apart from the People's Democratic Party. Don't you think they also have their own issues that they are probably not bringing to the fore?
Well, when you're talking about issues, actually in politics, there's going to be one issue or the other. But a real political party has a way of handling their internal party issues. The issue of other parties watching, yes, we are enjoying the whole movie because we know that very soon the party will cry, as my colleague here have said.
No, you can't. No,
let me
didn't say it so. He cannot even say it so. Because he spoke from.
We know that very soon, the worst will happen. Let me put it that way. So when it comes to that, some of the members will come to people like us and seek refuge, will accept them. That's the truth. But the truth of the whole thing is just that it pains me to see that a party who have come from a very. I know how they fought PDP and took over power after Bruno Sumbo and the Oshiomhole issue went to court and things like that. They worked so hard, they struggled so hard to get this power. Just after 8 years, because of personal interest, greediness, and things like that, they decide to throw it away and rubbish the whole thing. But the truth of the matter is just this. Thank God for what is happening. It's a beauty. It's part of democracy. It means we are advancing. Well, the whole thing now shows that tomorrow, if somebody sponsor you as Evans to become the governor of the state, you now have the boldness that yes, no matter who sponsors you, you are there as a governor to do what you felt is right, what you felt is proper for yourself, because tomorrow history will judge you, not your sponsor. So I want to again tell the APC, I'm not an APC member, but I have some APC friends, even we are already friends now, who are here with me. I want to urge the APC, the best thing, the only thing they need to do is to go back to round table and sort these things out. It's not difficult to do. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of being humble, bring yourself down. If the national chairman of APC says, oh, I want to be the Lord, I want to be the God, I want to be the whatever of APC, because the man have worked so hard to bring APC to certain level that they are today, and the president governor say, no, I'm worried. I don't believe in agree or whatever. I don't want to go and sit down and say, okay, call these people. What is the issue? Because actually, during the election of this Obaseki, I know what some of those persons, what they did, not bad things now, what they did, they went out of their own way, spent their personal money to sponsor campaign, to do a lot of things, with the promise that when I met the governor, no problem, we will know how to handle these things. But you're already there now, you know, said, oh, the way these things are going are not proper. There are other ways you can take on these people. Doesn't mean you should share state fund with them. No.
Okay, which other ways do you think is not taking care of them?
Yes,
now?
if he doesn't know what to do, he should stretch out the fellowship to people like us. We don't pay us. We can give you advice.
When you say,
no, stretch out the fellowship.
Yeah.
What do you do is that if I was to be in Obaseki's position, for instance, like I don't want to mention names on television, because but we know those who are talking about. If you go to area like Ovia Northeast, Ovia South, we are bringing the Yorubas from Ondo to come and farm in our land. There are vast areas of land there, unused. So why not take these people, take them to the bush, open up the bush for them?
But some will say that if you go to some parts of Edo South here, some will say that there are projects that the state government is presently embarking on. So
yeah,
perhaps,
we'll be hearing it, but I've not seen any.
All right. So when we say, if you go there, you may see them. So I think we are probably just speaking from the way we are looking at it. Don't you think so?
No. This issue of I heard of farm rice in Notre Dame. No, I'll not be there. But that of Edo South, I'm a farmer. I have a palm tree farm, I have rubber farm, I have workers in the, as we are speaking, I have workers in the bush. I have workers. So why can't other youth farm? If government give them enabling environment to do that, if government power them, give them some grants to do that, they will farm. So take them away from Ring Road, take them away from Oba Market, take them away from New Benin, take them to the bush, let them farm. If they not get to the bush and say, no, we're not going to farm, you have reason to say, oh, these people, yes, they actually, I promised them that when I get to power, I will give them employment. Now I've given them employment, say they don't want to go to agriculture, they don't want to do this, but that one that you want to do, the issue of study money for people, whatever, I don't have fancy that. I don't want that to happen in my regime. Okay. It will be justifiable.
Okay, let me come to Comrade Mavis now. Now, he talked about solution, and that seems to be a big issue that people have been looking at. As a matter of fact, people have suggested that the best way for the All Progressives Congress in this whole scenario is to employ political solution. Why some say no, it must be constitutional solution. And of course, when we stretch it further to want to employ political situation, there's the tendency for us to once again to want to revisit the issue of the rule of might and the rule of power. Now, the rule of power again borders on constitutional solution, while the rule of might borders on who says what and who says what should not be done. So what is your own take on finding a lasting solution to all this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans, for actually coming up with that question. I think it was never my intention to. He has opened the floor to discuss political issue as it affects political party. I know that is a member of APC.
Yeah.
Some of us say, I'm not a category member of any political party, practically APC.
Yeah, but you vote on election day.
Yes, like what I'm trying to say in the first place, I'm speaking as an individual.
Okay.
I'm speaking as a representative of the youth.
Okay.
So whatever I have to say must be in tandem with the interest of the youth. And anything fall short of it, I'll not be party to it.
Okay.
The issue is quite critical. And I don't want to believe that the governor himself is not aware of the issues before him. You see, whether it's within party level or in due course it maybe escalate beyond that party level, the youth will still be at the receiving end of the whole thing. Because when we talk about Togri, we're talking about the youth. When we talk about using forces or having structures from the state level to world level, national level, world level, you are talking about the youth. They are directly or indirectly involved in the whole process. So if there are some persons that are loyal to the governor, and some also loyal to the national chairman of the party, and the vast majority of those loyalists talking about, they are from the youth constituency. So I don't want to get myself involved in the complexity within the party issue. Okay, like I said, you can't be talking about resolving issues that are legal for quite some time without talking about what led to the issue. I mean, the root cause of the problem. So if, like I said, the governor is willing to take charge of the affairs of the state governance and political structure, as he is the leader of the party.
But do you think this whole problem now lies in the hands of the governor?
Of course. Yes.
But the governor has told us that he cannot write another proclamation letter, which seems to be the basis of this whole thing. I mean, it's very unconstitutional.
I cannot be speaking against the decision of the court. Like I said, the court has held that, the governor cannot issue a fresh proclamation letter.
Although we know that the case is still in court, so the case has been appealed against. We know that.
At that level, the court already resolved that issue. But the unsettled one, the unsettled political issue here, is that, you see, the particular numbers of persons are there as members of the House Assembly. They don't possess the required number to carry out the legislative functions of the state. You know, so I think if, as the CSO of the state or the chief executive officer of the state, you say this is what you want, and it represents the interest of the people, of course you have the support of the people. But in this case, what we are saying is political vendetta at the altar of the people, of the interest of the people, as it affects negatively the lives of those local, electorates, those constituencies. We believe and we're meant to understand that the prosperity of the government of the government must translate to the prosperity of the people. But what we see today, let me tell you, let me take your mind back to what happened at the level of Iyamo convocation. You saw what happened, and it has been on social media. That was not expected from the deputy governor, who was somehow president of NAS.
Yeah, but
to have invaded the sacred, environment of learning.
No, he did not invade. When you say invaded, no. I think we need to use the right word here.
Listen now. It's a process.
Honorable,
the convocation process.
Yeah, Conrad Fiduciary did not invade that premises. I've seen it on the social media. He only went there. I mean, how did he go there? So you mean the supporters that followed him?
He was a motorbike kid.
Yeah, but for such a popular figure,
no. See, at this point, let me tell you, the Obaseki actually captured the minds of the people when he came with this matter of no to Togri, no to. The one he started singing against the Fadaris just started because of their political turbulence. that is not in existence between them. But before, when the going was very smooth, when the affairs of the party or the relationship was quite smooth, there was nothing like the federalism within them. So I don't want to, like I said, I want to dabble into their political affairs or their party structural issue. What I'm concerned about is it affects the people, especially the youth.
Yeah.
Now look at what's happening in the state. I think at this level, the government should be interested in putting an end to the issue of insecurity.
Okay.
The issue of court killings.
All right.
Now, who are those killing? The youth. Who are those being killed? The youth. So what's the government doing about it? And the money is being, the attention of the money is being diverted from court governance to political issues.
Yeah, but at times these court killings that, like the one presently that has been reported for about like some few days now, it started in University of Benin. So the governor perhaps may not directly have, I mean, the school authorities there. So I think we should limit some of the blames.
University of Benin is located where?
Well,
also, if we must, listen, what I want to actually go against, or if I have the permission to advise the governor, not just on the one-on-one note, to advise the governor here, he should listen to minds that reason logically, and not these political prisoners.
About the governor, have you approached the governor and the governor did not listen to you?
No, that is not the. The governor is a sound mind.
All right,
so we expect that when issues like this are on, it should be more tactical.
Yeah, that's why I asked the question.
Let us go back to the issue of
to...
You can't be coming to convocation ground, coming on the motorcycle case. To come and do what?
Anyway, let's leave that.
I thought by now, if the government still wants to, if he still wants to continue to enjoy the goodwill, that he has always enjoyed before now, I think he ought to have countered or made statement against that, that report. Okay.
So, well, I'll come back to you on that, because some say that the school authority should be blamed. I mean, for allowing people of talks to even get access to that premises that they, let alone blaming the deputy governor.
You should blame the governor, the CS of the state.
Anyway, also, however, just like what Mavis, tried to explain, looking at, I asked the question whether if this own blame is still in the hands of the governor. Constitutionally, the governor cannot issue another proclamation later, and of course that's what the High Court in Port Harcourt said, despite the fact that the case has been appealed against. Now, I think for some people that keep on pointing accusing hands at the governor, I think they need to have a rethink that, look, this thing perhaps has gone beyond the hands of the governor. Osahon Baraye.
Thank you so much, my brother. What is happening here is not English, it's political. The governor of the state has time to be corrected, which I know has pride. The national chairman of the party has pride.
No, but you cannot.
No, just listen to me.
Personal.
No, leave personal. No, listen.
When you say pride,
just listen to me.
Yeah.
If you listen to me very well,
I don't understand.
You know where I'm coming from.
Here.
It's not personal. Just listen.
Or from the way you are looking at it.
Yeah, from the way I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Pride. If not pride, the issuing of a second proclamation letter is of no use. It's dead on arrival. If the national chairman, pride and ego, this one, pride and ego, that is why the thing is escalating to this extent. If the governor of the state today leaves his abode conveniently and drive to Evans Place, the man that won the election that was not sworn in, and I said, my brother, you are a Benin person, and you're not a Benin person. If you do it the first time, let me tell you, I always speak with them. I was sitting with a political leader before this election, and they told me that the way I talk on ITV, I don't always talk in support of our party. That is like I'm working like this, like that. And all those people that quarreled with me now, they are the ones fighting themselves. So I told them, I said, if you know you act and do the truth, I will always support you. Forget if my wife today does anything that is wrong, I will tell you my wife, this thing is wrong, not to even talk of a party person. The truth is that the person said, a big political stalwart in Edo State, he said, you just said Obaraye is not supporting you, even as a party person. Have you left your comfort zone to go and discuss with Obaraye, leaving your party issue now, to say, my brother, this is me? And what the person said, as a party person, you're supposed to follow. He said, that is where you got it wrong. I've contested governorship in this state for several times. And let me tell you the reason why people get my support. That there is nobody that does not have who he or she is very loyal to. Nobody. If I see Evans' wife, I will listen to Evans' ear. I will forget about Evans. Right. I'll meet somebody that knows Evans' wife to say, please, your husband is on my neck. Okay, so I need this political support.
Are you trying to say that the 14 members agree that if the governor goes to them...
I'm not saying if they agree. Out of that 14, if the governor on his own forgets about everything and dress just the way we are dressing now to say, my brother, this... Are you telling me if I was the person that if the governor comes to talk to, let's say my mom, and my mom calls me to say, oh, the governor was here, he wants to see you, I will say because of politics I forget about my mom.
Yeah, but what about if you look at it this way around, that those 14 members have probably not made themselves accessible?
No, just listen to me. If you try to listen to me, you will see you are repeating what I've said. No, I'm not saying the 14 members. Yeah. I just use me. Some of them. I said if I was in Abuja and my mom called me this morning, my son, where are you? Will I say because of politics I will not answer my mom?
Okay, you are saying that if
I'm asking you a question. Will I not answer my mom?
You will answer your mom.
If my mom now say, I want to see you this evening, it's very important. Will I not also come?
You will.
Then when I come, I see my mom and the governor sitting down. Will I walk away from my mom?
All right, so what is exactly your point now?
My point is, the governor should forget whatever it is. Forget your position. You need more people now than they need you. You don't need to drive people now.
All right, so as it relates to the members.
So the members, why not? I know you people will say, has he not got it to them? No, but I'm also giving you a clue of what somebody said. You must have somebody to somebody's heart.
All right, so
all these people that are running now, their kids are here.
All right, Osama Barry, let's take it down. Now, what you are saying is that the governor should make approach to try and see them. Is that what you're saying?
The governor cannot get 0/14 if he makes a direct approach to individually, not collectively. One-on-one, 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 one-on-one.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm asking you. What about if the governor may have made attempts?
He cannot get 0/14. We're in Nigeria now. My brother, don't let us talk as if we're in this program, we are in CNN.
No.
We're in Nigeria. Nobody. All these things still boils down to hunger. It still boils down to hunger. Are you telling me they are happy where they are?
But let me tell you something.
So if the governor forgets to say, okay, you are coming now, my brother, this is it. What do you really want? No one.
Now, Osama Barry, you are a politician, and we're talking about politicians here. Now, there are indications that these aggrieved members of the Edo State House of Assembly that they have a godfather, so to say, that they are loyal to. It's possible that the governor may have made an attempt to visit them one-on-one, and of course they need to get back to their godfathers first.
Evans, let me guide you here. Yeah. Let me guide you here. PDP, APC, anybody that has played politics actively since '99 know me directly. Not far, directly, like just the way I know you. So if I'm telling you something, don't let me just say it because you've asked me something, I just say something. So if there are some things I will just tell you, what I just learned from as a journalist, to swallow it quickly and use it as a question. I just told you, what I told you now is what you can take to the bank.
Yeah.
All these people, the 14 to 30 of them, none that is not my friend. I have, that's if I live here now, my brother, this is what you talk, so you be, I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I'm not a member of EPM, I'm not a member of OSM, I'm a member of APC.
Okay, I want to also believe that you are saying what they have told you, their mindset that look is because...
Not mindset, we are all friends.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen,
the fact that you are our friends,
let me say that.
Have they told you that it's because the governor has not come to
meet me? No, leave that one.
That's what you're saying.
Mr. Evans, can't I live here now and sit anywhere in 2 hours' time and tell you that I know Evans directly?
Of course.
Then if somebody now call you to say, Osama was there, did you talk to Osama? Do you need to tell Osama what? Don't I know from our friendship, don't I know your pain? So can't I discuss it? Do any of them really need to talk to me to say this is, as a politician, don't I know? Which one is also, can some of them also be speaking if it was Osama that was also in Abuja or in the House of Assembly building?
The argument is really not between you and I.
It's not you and I. The truth is what I'm telling you.
It's not between you and I.
The truth is what I'm telling you. The Congress is coming. Are we going to do the Congress in zoo? Is it animals that are going to do it?
Certainly not.
Is it not human beings?
Yes, certainly.
So don't we need human beings to do it? So I just told you that out of the 192 words, we already have faction. It's factionalized. And there are some things the governor's word for is not factionalized. Because why? He goes to meeting nearly every week now. He's not serious with it. So everybody sees the opportunity to sit with him. So if he can also do it, reciprocate the people. Let me also, there are some things I will tell you. You might want to argue, but it's the truth. He said, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." What is the truth? The truth is that the governor is first 11. His first 11 don't also have what it takes to, that charisma to carry people along.
You cannot say so. Because see, Osama Barai, we must get something right here. Now, you cannot say the governors first 11 don't have the charisma to carry other people along. You cannot say so.
Okay, I'm talking like a journalist. If you don't want me to ask me a question, you can continue.
No.
I'm telling you, it's a political. I'm not an APC member. Are you an APC member?
You are.
Are you an APC member?
I'm not.
Then why are you telling me how my house is?
No.
I'm telling you, you are looking from the journalism angle. I'm telling you the political reality.
That is my job. That's why I asked the question.
Let me tell you. Do you know what
this first 11 you are talking about?
Some
Have they
politicians
told you that they don't have the charisma to carry other people along?
Some politicians are you polite that will come here and start telling you, don't worry, there's no faction in our party, everything is going on well. Those are the one people clap hands for. Because I tell you the truth as it is. You keep asking more questions.
No. When you say your truth now, your truth must be said in such a way that people can actually relate to it. We can't come and make a general statement that governors first 11 that they don't have the charisma to carry other people along. I won't let you say that.
They have the charisma to carry people along. I think you can continue now.
All right, let me come to you now.
I'm not enjoying. When I tell you something, my brother, my words you can take it to the bank.
No,
are you getting? It's not.
I wake up.
Will I tell you? Somebody needs to tell me. Just somebody needs to tell me what anything political. I will tell you that. The fight now that is going to also emanate from PDP, we are also very aware now. Anytime from now, the house is going to there's a bomb in waiting. What they are waiting for is to see the final collapse in APC. Then you see the fight. No where fight will not come. Even in AA, the reason why there is fight today is because there is food here. Was there fight when we were all struggling, eating gari, groundnut and biscuit, informing the party? Now that there is time to eat chicken and salad, that is when there is fight. So fight will always come. Is it not the same fight that was in PDP in 2000 Because PDP was everywhere, they can give you contract and make you a billionaire overnight. But now APC can also do the same. That's why there is fight.
When you say PDP can give you contract and make you billionaire overnight, I think we have to be careful with the way we make some of these expressions. Because no. We're also on a more serious note, because you don't even have. Did PDP ever approach you that they were going to give you a contract and make you a billionaire overnight? So let's not make categorical statements that we cannot really substantiate. Anyway, let me come to Honorable Ogbedi now. Now, your own party, it's also, just like what Osama Barai said, that perhaps there are issues in other political parties that we are not saying now. But let's look at the bigger picture, which is the Edo 2020, just some few months from now. How is your own party ready for the election?
Yes. Before I answer your question, let me just make some observation. My colleague here talked about riding on bike to convocation. I don't know if they say in the Nigerian Constitution that says you must not use bike if you want to go to convocation. During Osumbo and Oshomole's court saga, it was the same bike men. Even though Oshomole rode on bike then, you see bike, more than what went to Iyamo. So thousands of them, on daily, anytime they go to court, it was not an offense. So the issue of bike to Iyamo, whatever, I don't even see any of those bike may continue there that day from what I watched on video. I haven't said that. My brother was at home. I know you are being paid because you are saying the truth. You know, in Nigeria, most times, the truth always hot, and nobody wants to hear the truth. And that of my brother Evans too, it needs to. They have rules and regulations. They have ethics here. They also guide their profession. So I haven't said that. The issue of preparation, my party PPA, we are fully prepared. We are fully 100% prepared because. We are one family. We are politicians. We are not the greedy type of politicians. We are not the jobless politicians. Those who don't have any source of livelihood, who just depends on, oh, let's wait for state resources. Let's wait for what's going to come out for politics. I just told you now that I'm also a businessman. I do one or two other things to make sure that the same apply to all my party members, even the youth, the people, the youth, don't do the word ordinary, just the members. Everybody have one or two things that they are doing. Some are artisans, some are the professionals, some like that. They are all busy doing so. So the issue of election, 2020 election, we are fully prepared. We already, although we've not done our primary because the INEC guidelines have not, it's not out yet. We have people already indicating interest. They are still expecting more persons to be, even within and outside our party, they're indicating interest, and we're also expecting more persons to also indicate interest. I might even run again, but I can't guarantee that.
Anyway, we're down
so
now.
we are fully prepared as a 2020 election. But we are expecting the APC, as my brother have said, after their primaries, so that at least 40 or 50% of them will leave and come and join us to boost our own, because politics is all about numerical strength, to boost our own party. The same way with the PDP, I don't know, they might have problems or they might not have. Whatever happens, we are fully ready to receive any of them. They want to come, our hands are wide open.
Yeah, but I hope you're not campaigning here.
No, I'm not campaigning.
Anyway, let me come to Mavis now. Now, Mavis, you are a member of the African Youth Parliament, and Edo youths are also members of that African Parliament. Now, we are talking about Edo 2020, and this behooves on, it's the youth we are talking about now, because more than 80% of the people that vote are actually the youth. Now, in all these political issues going on here and there across various political parties in Edo State, how do you think the youth should begin to prepare themselves, for the election ahead?
I will always thank you, my brother. See, I'm just like an innocent soul. I'm in the midst of two political elephants. Try to argue issues to their interests and
Yeah.
I actually saw the ventilation
No.
in Maga, so it's a normal thing.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
It's allowed. But Maga said disposition too. But let me, like I said, there are issues I wouldn't want to actually, practically, delve into. Especially with respect to that issue of Iyamo. You can't be telling me, a convocation ground. Like I said, it ought to be an academic sacred land where the decency and some level of responsibility is being displayed. Not a deputy governor of a state, the former president of NAS, riding on motorcycle kids to convocation ground where you have intellectual products coming to discuss.
Well, let us not jump the gun here.
Like I said,
That is not.
yes, but it's worrisome when you try to see nothing wrong with that activity.
No, we don't. That's not what we are talking about. So we cannot say anything wrong or anything right in
I'm not
it.
referring to you. I was observing. It was like you guys were almost coming up having these personal issues.
No, we can't have
like,
personal issues.
I don't want us to have
Osaron Baraye is a politician. He
Yes,
talks like a
I
politician.
agree.
But even at that, we cannot make a holistic. I mean, those guys that he was making reference to, they are not here. So we cannot speak for them.
We are, by virtue of mere immortality, by virtue of our being, like, we are politicians. We might not be involved in political activities at any level, but we are politicians naturally. So you can't take it far from him that whatever he's saying is because he's a politician. But being a politician is a human being as well. So he has the right to express his displeasure over any on the other development. So let me focus my argument on the issue you just raised, which has to do with youth involvement as to affect them positively.
The preparedness
they cannot
that you should have.
Cannot continue our political leaders, we cannot continue to subject ourselves to the, functionality of our political leaders just for thuggery and other form of criminal activities, all in the name of getting to power via enemies. Like I said, if we must remember this fact, politics is a game of interest. And one cannot, at this point, divorce from the imminence of 2020, when the governorship election would hold. But we cannot say because the election must hold, and because of our interest in that election, we will now become desperate of getting to power. So I will always admonish the youth that it is our time we begin to sit down to critically assess the level of reasonability of this person's begging for our vote. It is not enough to on that day of election sharing money torrentially to electorates. This will be involved in this deadly practice will be involved for decades. How can I continue like that? It's not eating any result as to speak. Because we saw in Ibadan, the current governor of Ibadan,
Oyo State,
Seyi Makinde,
yeah,
appointing less than 30-year-old young man as commissioner in the history of Nigeria. So let us begin to see value in our youth intellectually, Let us begin to see the productive nature of our youth. Let us begin to see the positive effects of our youth, how they can be useful to the society. Let us begin to call our youth for roundtable discussion summits to cross-fertilize ideas and views on how to make progress. You cannot be fighting and you are fighting politically and the people, the electorate are the receiving end. They are the ones suffering the fight. Then after the whole process, you come back and tell them, no, we are together, we are one. I don't want to, like I said, I will never be compelled or tempted to go into their political matter. What stops the state government from actually calling members elected under this political party? In this case, it's just one party. To say, now brother, see, we must put us together to take this seat forward, regardless of your political inclination, your allegiance to any political leader. Okay, and let you make it public. I've had one-on-one encounter with, like one-on-one discussion with some of these members elected, and actually attacked their decision. I said, you are doing this not in our own interest, but your own interest. You are meant to be elected to represent us, but you are not where you are not to be found. You are not there to be nominated. And they also gave their own, version of what transpired. And when you call some of these things down, you discover that there's this unnecessary ego, But you cannot take it away from the government. Like I've said, and I'll keep maintaining it, that the whole thing boils down to the governor's capacity to say, okay, let me take full charge of the affairs of this state, political and otherwise. Okay, come up with policies that will benefit the youth, that will benefit those market women, benefit our even elderly men. Let's say the governor working directly with the people, with the youth. Of course, there will be no political attack from his party members. It is beyond what we see or what people talk about. And you know quite well that the media, the journalists, you contribute, 75% to some of these crises we're experiencing.
How do you mean?
The way you propagate and blow the issue.
No, when you blow the issue, we report what we see.
It's normal. There are times you also ignite the whole thing. So it's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, all parties, all stakeholders must come together at this point in time to discuss the way forward for the state.
Okay. Now, also,
we cannot at all time say because it's not beneficial. My interest is not being represented personally as against the interest of the general public. Okay. Then as such, the thing will not work.
All right. I do know that tempers are high, but let's try and bring it down. You are a politician, and we are looking forward to 2020 for us to have a peaceful election and all this. Now, I just wanted to talk to members of your party this morning, because for me, as an ordinary person, as an ordinary Edolite, I'm worried that, I watch the television for national news, and of course I hear crises and those political issues in Edo State and all that. I'm concerned. So I want to give words of advice to your politicians this morning, your members of the APC this morning.
Okay, thank you. I also pray that you should not also start telling me if they said so to me.
Yeah, but
if since it's an advice, an advice should be what? If my advice is my suggestion.
Suggestions. Yeah.
So my advice is simple. My advice is my party first of all, because you have to first of all lead by example.
That now.
Yeah, you have to first of all lead by example your own. So my party is that the national chairman and the governor both of them should swallow their pride, so that posterity will judge them positively. If they swallow their pride, every other person watching them will be ashamed, fully ashamed. Swallow pride and ego to say, let's everything move forward. Even if at this point, call me a son, call me a boy, but swallow pride, humility, just like Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Indira Gandhi, people like Mandela, they should toe that part. Because I think if those people decide to swallow pride, every other thing will take shape. Those people living in Abuja will have nothing doing in Abuja. Those people writing, insulting in Facebook will have no other thing doing. Because if you take note, within 48 hours at the governor's visit to Iyamo, the non-politicians that call themselves politicians were confused. It was people like us that said, no, this thing is not real. But already both parties will no longer
that was in the solar break, the first solar break. Yeah.
Both of the people following them, their followers, were like perturbed. What's going on? But it's we that knew that no, if this visit, if Oshomole had his squad two-seated and the other one seated, it would be better. Not you sitting and receiving the other squad. So mine was no, this thing was not real, and it now played. So If swine is swallowed, my brother, everything will move on well. I was guiding you. If one of them in Abuja, or 2 or 3 of them, stroll down and also swallow their pride and walk down to House of Assembly on Tuesday, and we see people chasing them out, are we going to say those people, they were fools? No. History will now also judge those that chased them out to say, thank you for proving to us that it was you people that really never needed.
Yeah.
So everybody must, first of all, put the people first. Because I keep asking people, who is really fighting for the people in the streets? In these two fights now, what is the benefit of the poor woman selling pure water? Of that woman with Bakara and Akamu form in our various junctions? What is their benefit in this fight? Go back and see that it's nothing. The both people fighting now is how to see power. Hold on to power. And you cannot hold on to Nigeria power without becoming a billionaire in dollars. Must. Because if by the time you hold on to power, you must start, either you buy a private jet or you'll be using one. So you can see, so it also boils down to let's have more money. And if we forget about that to say let's work, if they sit down in their closet to remember how South African Mandela fought for independence. And when independence came, the man had all the privilege to become a lifetime president. Nobody will argue with him. Nobody.
He did just 1 term.
He did 1 term and said he was buying out. And when he came, the wife misbehaved and he drove the wife away. That's to tell you a principled man. That was the same wife that fought with him and he said, no, you cannot do this. So we should try to start looking at people so that are we not talking about Nelson Mandela? Some of us were not privileged to meet him one-on-one. But we're talking about his good deeds. So why don't you also sit down? Let people talk about you. To say there was one man I heard about, Obaseki in Edo. When he came, things really changed. There was one man I heard, Osomole in Edo. When he came, things really changed. So it's also my prayer, brother, that when they give you power, you should also try to remain the way you are. But the Nigeria factor does not really mean, because we must tell ourselves the truth. All of us believed that we will never see this type of fight again, because we knew what we suffered during the days where we are coming from. But seeing this one now is so painful to some of us. But actually, what do we really need to do? If not, I told you yesterday, I said, I don't belong to any faction. Because if they are talking to me, the simple question I ask is, my brother, you've spoken to me since. What about the person selling pure water? If I come and meet you, yes, everything will be okay. But who will remember those people? So don't let us just forget about these people, because our governance was to empower people. To make sure those people that were selling pure water no longer sell on their head. Either they do not have a kiosk. If we leave them with a kiosk, the next governor that is coming will take them to a shop. From a shop, we start building on that, so that a time will come, that woman will not even bother to ask for money on election day.
All right, so what you are speaking in essence is that the two people now, the governor and the national chairman, they should please shield their swords.
They should not pretend, because if they don't shield their sword, I've said it before, I'm telling you again, that's what I said. If they pretend to say everything is well, immediately after, I'm giving you a news now, immediately after the 16th of November, which is the governorship of election of Kogi and Bayelsa, the election tension in Edo will be so heightened.
No, you cannot also say that now. Now, Osahon Bara.
No, I think positively.
Okay, except if you say so.
Positively, yeah. Because then everything will not be shifted to the Congress in Edo.
As the attention will now be drawn to
Edo, the Congress now.
Okay.
And Congress will not be, from the way the fight is going, the Congress will, if they don't shoot their sword, the Congress will not be bloody, because it's already, people are fighting. In my word now, what 7?
Yeah,
I told you.
But we cannot say so, because we really don't want any bloody situation.
Yes, that I said, if they do shoot their sword, it will not be that. So they should do it so that the people they govern will enjoy their government. I get it now. In my word, I told you somebody was wearing a 4+4 cap in a meeting, APC meeting. My brother, is that person supposed to be scared in the meeting? 4 plus 4 top bar, a orange cap.
Yeah.
And somebody came and said, my brother, pull that cap on your head.
reacted.
That is no, you are not supposed to wear that cap in this place.
Within the same party.
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you now. And fight bust. Fight. You can, that's, no PDP coming to us now, not PPA. Somebody's wearing face cap and say, remove that cap in a meeting. And the next thing, fight, bottle, chairs,
Anyway,
and everything.
let us,
so,
yeah.
if that was just done in a meeting, what about Congress?
All right, now we are not praying for that situation, and we will never find that situation.
Amen, amen.
Now, we're going to leave the line so that viewers out there can call. We'll
Amen.
just do that within the next 5 minutes. 052290573, 052290573, 052290573 is the number so that viewers out there can make 1 or 2 calls as we draw the conclusion of this segment today. Now, Honorable Betty, one more time. What are your closing remarks as we make preparation for?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're beginning to have the calls coming now. Just go ahead.
Okay. What I will advise the APC, especially the national chairman, let me go a little bit spiritual. When this man came on board the very first time, people brought him in. People like Chief Lucky Benedion and Isaiah and others. By the end of the day, what happened? It was abuses and things
No,
like that.
you
I'm coming. That's why I want to go. I said, let me go into this spiritual.
There are things we
I said,
can.
let me go into this. Let me
You
go
cannot,
into
you cannot also say this one.
No,
This one is everywhere.
I know how Grace Group emanated from the former PDP.
You can
then.
know how Grace
When
Group
he
emanated,
came-
but do you
he-
have evidence of who abused who and who did not abuse who?
It was on air. It was on air.
I won't let you say
Lucky
so.
record a lot of names.
I
Even
won't let
the
you
father to
say
a
so.
lot of
Please
names.
go on with
Later, then and things like
go on
that.
with your
Okay,
remark,
okay,
yeah.
let me do it that way.
All
Okay,
right.
what I'm saying is that
All right, we have the caller on the line. Yes, hello.
Because if we actually want to win this this next year election, is to look for a way to resolve the issue with the national chairman.
Okay.
Because by the time he will bring out another candidate from APC from Benin here, the battle, the way he's seeing it will be different from the way he's looking at it. Because by the time the Benin will now have another candidate, they will share their best at this. So the tendency for it to lose the election will lose it very clearly. So you should look for a way to resolve the issue with the national chairman, because
That's the state
way
governor now.
people that said that they are loyal to him is very, very unfair.
Okay.
It's worsening the situation.
All right.
It's
Please,
worsening the situation.
all
My
right.
position.
All right. So, please, I want you to tell me your name and where you called from.
Myself, I'm Peter Bani from Edo North.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's just towing your line, Osahon Barayi now, asking the state governor to try and make the move.
So you
to
have also
resolve
told him
the-
to give
the
you facts and
situation.
figure.
All right, 052290573. I'll take one more last call. 052290573. One more last call. 052290573. Now, Honorable Bedo, you had said
yes,
something.
as I was saying, I want to advise the national chairman of APC to go back to those who supported him. Let me know if the word brought him in, as you said. Who supported him in the
No, I
very
didn't
first
say you
tenure.
should not say.
Okay, who brought him in? Those who brought him in, he should go back to them and apologize. Let them pray for him, because
Okay, we have another caller on. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from Benin.
All right, your name?
Yeah, my name is Iram.
Okay.
Okay, what I would advise the national chairman is for him to leave the governor to work. Because when he was the governor, nobody ever intruded on his government. He was I believe then, I know he was the leader of the department when he was the governor of Edo State. So why can't he allow this governor to do same? He should leave him and allow him to work. That's my own contribution.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. It's perhaps, two sides of the divide. Yeah, hello. Hello, this will be the last call. Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, your name and where you calling from?
Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Mike calling from Benin.
Okay.
Okay, the issue is that I see this problem as young settlement. That what that man is telling you, Obara, is just the simple truth. Only because of the ethics and rules you use in your station, you don't want to listen to him. But that is telling you is just the simple truth, my brother. It's just the simple truth. So they should go and beg the national chairman to make everything calm down. Go. But it's just like he's seeing everything, he's telling you everything. So just everybody just believe him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, that'll be the last call. Well, I never prevented Obarayo from saying something, and I never went against it.
So
that'll be the last call. We're not going to yeah.
So as I was saying, let me round up quickly. As I was saying, the issue of proclamation letter was not the genesis of this whole thing. The issue of Iyamo crisis was not the genesis of this whole thing. This only started initially from the issue of locking some party children out of government house, the issue of not giving a job to some persons, of which during the election, these persons were promised that, yes, when we win, we will give you a job, we will empower you, things like that. So what I believe will cause things like this is just simple nemesis.
Okay, thank you so much.
So let him go back and say sorry.
All right.
Let them forgive him. I think things will work for all of them.
Quickly from African Youth Parliament.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I want to actually beckon on both parties to shed swords and
Shield their sword.
and actually make progress in
Yeah.
the interest of the people. You see, they've had issues before now. Like I said, it has been like a party thing within them, and it has not been so loud as it were in the time of during the issue of proclamation letter. It's going so loud and clear that there's something actually happening between them.
on, yeah.
So all that was happened before them was at that minimal level, and they were able to actually resolve it at that level. We never escalated beyond that level. To my best of understanding and knowledge, and so what he has said and both expressed here is quite okay.
All right.
But my prayer is that they should do whatever they can within their best. He mentioned about Nelson Mandela's struggle.
Yeah.
That one practically was based on ideology.
All right, thank you so much. Now, Obarayo, quickly.
Or what?
Just wrap up.
Okay, thank you so much. I think it's a privilege to have sat here. I know we'll relax again.
By the way, somebody praised your...
Yeah, I will do my best to be with you on Impact on Tuesday radio, so that we'll continue at, so we don't talk in haste, because we give facts. We do our best to give facts. I cannot come here and tell you what I don't know.
Yeah, but
what I tell you most time is experience. What I've experienced.
Aggravate the situation.
No, the entire Nigeria issue is aggravated now.
I won't let you say so again. That's the issue.
There's hunger everywhere. Are you going to hide them?
There's no hunger everywhere.
No, this is your true look, my brother. You just can't go out and see.
You cannot also say so. Some people are hungry, some are not hungry. So you cannot say there's hunger everywhere.
It was before.
Anyway, thank you so much, gentlemen. Honorable, thank you for finding time. And also extend a handshake to comrades there. Thank you so much for the talks today. Well, we'll take a short pause now. Please stay tuned.